Welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. Joining us right here in the studio from the Denmark Art Center is Susan Bean. Good morning, Susan.
Morning, Rob.
How are you?
I'm doing peachy. Last night I sort of was a little tired. Mary Bastoni came and performed the women, strong women, bold voices of the 60s and 70s.
What fun.
And it was great, right? Because at a point, I mean, you just can't help but sing because everyone knows the words who are of that age.
Yeah.
And so it was a point where we're all singing. It was fun.
That's
it was
great.
A great night, yeah.
That's great. Well, that's just one of the things you do there at the Denmark Art Center.
Yeah.
We last chatted back in the spring, and you talked about all your spring things, and so we ended up going to Sheep Fest or whatever,
Yes.
Yarn Fest or whatever, Wool
Sheep.
Fest.
There's a lot of wool and yarn
Well, what
there.
fun that was. That was a great thing, and
that was
it was
good.
really cool because I've been over to the building before, but my family hadn't. So to be able to go and look at I love the building. I mean, you and I talked about that. I love
Yeah.
the building, and what a neat, casual affair. But with all the people there, just we found out so much information, and it just was, I think, a classic example of the great things that you do there at the Denmark Art Center.
Yeah, that one too. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary, and the fun thing is that the Sheep Fest started, and they were celebrating their 25th anniversary.
Nice.
And actually, we were talking about it. The Sheep Fest started with the sheep inside the building, so it was really small, and there was a lot of cleanup. So
That's
that
right,
doesn't
yeah.
happen anymore. That was great.
Smells like wool in here.
Well, and that was such a history for that area of a lot of sheep farmers. So it was pretty natural.
Yeah.
Like every spring, the sheep need to be shorn. So they provided a function.
Yeah.
And then over time, people were using spinning, they were dyeing, and they were knitting. And so all of those vendors, there's about 20 of them, who are part of the Mount Pleasant Fiber Arts Association. They're all coming in, and I love the visual part because everyone has their yarn out, and it's just mountains of color. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool thing.
Yeah.
But you've got a whole bunch of cool things coming up here.
I know.
At
It's exciting.
the Denmark, and that means starting June 22nd. So you'll probably see this poster around town.
Yep.
So if you see it, stop and take a look at it and look at all the great things that are coming up. So like in June, you've got Neptune's Car.
Yeah.
Who are Neptune's Car?
Well, they're a band from Western Mass, and they're folk Americana, and they've been playing around. I've been listening to their songs on the website or MP3s, and it's a type of music. Some of these things are guesses on our part of like what will interest people in the area for
Right.
music to come to. And they have a great sound, very tight harmonies. I'm like, yeah, I think this will be wonderful. So we're going to try it out. But the poster, hot off the press, as is the brochure, is we have a few, because it's in a few weeks, we couldn't fit everyone on the poster. So we had Mary Bastoni last night. Next week we have Laugh Labs, Lakeside Laugh Labs, Comedy Central, Denmark.
Yeah.
Comedy Western. And then we have the following week, Jonathan Sardi. So we have a homeboy, Mr. Cold River Radio Show himself, the crooner of the mountains, joining us. So yeah, we're on a roll. We're starting, we've already ramped up. We're getting excited.
Yeah, and I just actually, I've heard Jonathan Sardi little bits over the years, but I actually heard him at the Wild Quack River Festival. He was there with his band, and just a great voice. My friend would describe it as listening to a martini. It's just smooth and.
I like that because
And he has a great and just the presence, his persona. So that'll be a fun show too. But you have so many other things coming up here. You've got comedy, you have magicians, you have illusionists, you have bands. I mean, tons of stuff. So it's not just like, oh, I don't want to go to that type of thing. No, you've got it all.
Well, and we're trying to do we're not trying to be everything for all people, as we know, never easily accomplished, but we're trying to be a little bit for everyone.
Yeah.
And just to see what interests people. And so if a magician doesn't do it, which Norman Ing, if you didn't see him last year, oh my gosh, I would say you've got to mark the calendar.
Yeah.
Then it's something like 2 weekends ago we had psychic mediums for an evening with spirit, or Patsy Cline in the fall. It's her music.
Yeah.
She's long
Yeah.
gone.
Not
So
really Patsy.
hopefully hopefully something will hit someone and they'll join us.
I think it would be very easy. And as I said, it's a beautiful building.
Yep.
And so it's just kind of fun to go there. And we've been showing some photos of the building, but a neat building where you just kind of step back and you look at the building and you look at the performer, because I think that's an important part of it, of where you are can affect, you know, the sound and just the feeling of it. I love like outdoor concerts, you know.
Yep.
And an outdoor concert is totally different. And I think in a building like this, it's totally different.
Yep.
Where, you know, when I was there a couple of years ago and hearing the bands that were there, just the sound fills the room. And you don't have to worry about, oh, we've got to, you know, amp it up and make it loud, because it fills the room.
It does. And the setup of it's an 1883 building.
Yeah.
For the Oddfellows Fraternal Hall. And so we're carrying on the tradition of providing a space for the community to gather for arts, entertainment, culture, and socializing. And they built the space, and it's intimate. Acoustics are like spot on.
Yeah.
We have amplification and sound, which helps for the musicians, but it's pretty much you can ride on your own if you're doing any lecture without any amplification.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. The building, actually, after being 135 years old, celebrating its birthday, needs a facelift. So we've been working on that. So the intimate surrounding, the history, now we're just perking things up for our fire safety, and you got to come by and see it. Because MacGyver Electric, as our sponsor, just, you know, as you drive by, I think of it like a night light. You'd be like, whoa, there was something dim lit. Oh, what was that? And now it's like, wow, okay, wow, look at that. So they really have shown a light on the face of the Art Center. And Hancock Lumber is our season sponsor, and they're helping us build the front deck and ramp so that everything is, yeah. And Cackley Carpentry, there's just a plethora of sponsors who, as a nonprofit, whether you've worked for them, whether you've sponsored them, whether you participated in their events, they're part of the fuel. Membership is important, but businesses saying, yeah, we want this for our community. We want to make sure you stay. It really makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've also got summer camps coming up.
Holy schmoly, yeah.
I mean, school's almost out, so we got to start thinking about summer camps.
Well, and we have. Hopefully there's a little bit for everyone as well. Our tradition has been, we have a musical theater camp, apropos. We also have clay camp, so that kids go home with at least 10, or depending on how fast they work, like 20 pieces, and I'm like, whoa. So we have a clay show at the end of their camp.
Nice.
So we open the art gallery. And then we have, circus camp. So like usually the camps will have someone that will help out, and I'm like, I'll be the intern for circus camp, just because there's no age barrier here. Why not? So there are fun things. Fiber arts. We talked earlier of the Sheet Fest.
Right.
So fiber arts is pretty cool as far as coming home with tapestries and 3-dimensionals.
Nice.
Yeah. So hopefully we have a load of kids coming in.
There you go. And how do people sign up for the camps?
Going online is great, because there's a couple of forms there. What's really, Denmark is a small community, but robust as far as support for families. And last year, the Community Camp Fund was created so that anyone who is a year-round resident in Denmark can send their kids to camp for free.
Nice.
I know. And then another organization within the area, the Garino Fund, has supported toddler music. So Mountaintop Music Center is doing a toddler camp where that's for free for their kids.
Fun.
For 1 to 4, 5 to 7. So early musical experience to make it fun.
That will be a cacophony of sounds there.
Right, because you should see all the things she brings in. It's just like, okay, cool. So yeah, camp we have, and we're getting geared up. That will be in July and August. Going online is great. If you have the
book,
the season book, which we're psyched to have out in the community, that too will direct you to either coming and picking up a form. So it's first come, first serve, since a couple of them are free. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
and
fun.
so all sorts of fun things going on.
I think so. I'm hoping. And part of it, we were talking about earlier, Mary Bastoni playing last night. Part of it is things that the community has shown an interest in.
Yep.
New things that we're bringing out, like Reiki workshops. We have clay workshops. We're doing sip and paint, clay and wine. And we're also having a jazz lecture series at the end. So Mike Sakash from Mountaintop Music has a really popular summer series. And it's great because the instructors, the teachers are also musicians. So they're breaking down history, the history of jazz, and talking about it over decades of how, synthesizing different musics and styles.
Yeah.
And the great thing for some of us as learners was the one I had gone to, was talking about the history and defining some musical styles. And for me, I need that auditory. So they're musicians, so they play it and they go, okay, here's one style, here's one style. Do you hear that? And it's like, too subtle. And they'll play again. So you're seeing Mike Sakash performing, Justin Ramos. It's lovely class.
That's fun.
So yeah, it's
Very
smattering
fun.
out there.
So if somebody wants the information, they can go to denmarkarts.org and just click on that, find out all the information on that. You got a great website to get all the facts.
Yep, denmarkarts.org/events. And then you go, that's like directly to the source where you need to get tickets, information, and see who's coming up next on the calendar.
Sounds like a plan. Well, Susan, great to see you, as
you.
always. And lots of great things going on at the Denmark Arts Center. Plus, it's a fun drive to go over there. If you're right in the heart of North Carolina, you can come from different directions. But, it's kind of this, it's not a windy road, but it's a nice trip through Maine. It's not very far away.
No, it's not far. It's less than 22 miles, and it's this little pastoral, rural blip.
That's a better way to describe it than I did, so.
Well, go through the blip.
Through the blip.
and end at the Arts Center, and then we'll be there to entertain you.
Absolutely.
That's
a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks.
And we'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.